Could Leica make the perfect camera? I think that Leica could turn the Q2 into the perfect camera with just a few adjustments. First, the lens. Don't get me wrong, this 28mm lens is fantastic. Tack sharp, beautiful bokeh, takes cracking nice pictures. But I'm just not a fan of the 28mm focal length. If it were up to me, I would make this a 35mm focal length, or even better, an interchangeable lens system. It would be great if Leica could make a number of relatively inexpensive leaf shutter lenses to fit on this camera. Something like the M lenses, but just for electronic cameras like this Q2. I also love the macro function, so it would be cool if some of those lenses could do the macro function as well. The next thing I would change is the grip. I think this is a little hard to grip. I would take a hand grip or just a built-in, thicker, thumbs-up type grip. The next thing I would change is the viewfinder. Don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful OLED viewfinder, one of the nicest I've ever used. It's huge as compared to other cameras, and super easy to see even in low light. However, I think that a big part of the Leica experience is using the optical viewfinder, like on the M10s, with the two square patches that match up to let you know you're in focus. To be honest, if I'm on a professional photo shoot where everything has to be in focus, I'm probably not using something like this. I'm probably using something from a Japanese camera manufacturer that has figured out autofocus to the point where basically all of my shots are in focus. Right now, all of Leica's digital cameras don't have phase detect autofocus, so that's probably the next thing I would change. I would definitely have Leica include phase detect autofocus and borrow some technology from Sony or Canon. The next thing I would change is the rear screen. Don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful rear screen, a lot like the viewfinder. Very easy to see, very clear, colors are beautiful on the back of it, and very true to what you get out of the camera. However, it doesn't flip up, it doesn't tilt up, you can't shoot video on it. The next thing I would change is ports. The Leica Q2 doesn't really have any. It's got this one for a memory card, and it's got the battery slot here, which is a really cool mechanism, but there is no HDMI out port, there is no microphone jack, there's no headphone jack. So again, you can't really shoot video with this camera for anything besides, very short clips. This size factor, this form factor, this size would be great for shooting video, especially run and gun and vlog type stuff. Just imagine being able to do this with this tiny little camera. The next thing I would change on the camera is adding in-body image stabilization. Don't get me wrong, the digital stabilization on this camera is quite good, but in-body image stabilization would be fantastic, especially because I don't think lenses like this could have in-lens stabilization, so it would have to be in the body. Of course, if Leica could figure out some amazing advance in technology where there's stabilization in the lens, you might not need it in the body, but even better if both had it. Finally, the last thing I would change about this camera is the price. This camera is $5,000 new, which I understand is actually a pretty good value given the high quality lens that's on the camera. There's plenty of videos on YouTube showing that this lens by itself is probably more expensive than the $5,000 package here. Frankly, I would rather be able to take this lens off of this camera and put it on my M10 and use it on that camera. I really like the optical viewfinder and the manual experience of that. I don't really need the digital autofocus and the fancy viewfinder and all that stuff. I find it actually takes away from the shooting experience, and every time I'm using this camera, I just wish I was using the Leica M10 and I had that full stick shift, driving a manual car, driving a motorcycle, very tactile, have to be focused on what you're doing, shifting every little gear, every little notch experience. So, with a few little tweaks, this could really be an amazing camera. What do you think about this? Could Leica make a perfect camera? Do you think what I suggested would make the perfect camera? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks so much, and see you in the next one.